Spin up motors, speed, action. So, what I was saying before is that we want to draw the person's attention out. Once we start getting these responses, these personal trance words, we feed them back and sexualize it. Do you understand? Through through sexual metaphor, but we also sexualize it by what we're doing with our energy, with our touch, with our eye contact. Do you understand? Now, the thing is that once you've got the woman in a place where she's obviously turned on, what do you do then? What do you do then? I don't like the idea of closing, but what are some ways to quote, unquote, close? I don't like, excuse me, I've got to sneeze. Allergies. Malin, if you can bring me something to like a napkin. Oh, it's back here? Oh, thank you, love. Sorry. Pollen is in the air. So let's talk about the art of sexual aggression mastery. Sexual aggression mastery, by the way, is one of the modules in my new Rapid and Total Success with Women course. But anyway, what does it really come down to? First of all, it comes down to understanding this fundamental difference between men and women. That just because a woman feels drawn to you doesn't mean she's feeling desire. Just because she's feeling desire doesn't mean she's feeling aroused. And just because she's feeling aroused doesn't mean it's on right now. Anything could happen in between those states. So how do we get a woman invested in her arousal to the point where it is on? Do you understand? For us guys, we're aroused, fine. Like I said, we'll stick it in a tree, a duck, anything. Well, maybe not a duck, a chicken. Okay, so just because she's aroused, how do we move it to it's on? And my suggestion to you is that that process of moving it to it's on takes place, this is the real cleverness. You know, I'm tired as shit here, but this is real clever. This even, I can get very enthusiastic and energized about this because this is really clever. How do we get her invested in this interaction so she's always reaching for more in some sense? People don't perceive something has, if people perceive that they have to work a little bit to get something, that they're reaching for more a little bit, that they're being challenged, then they tend to perceive whatever that is as being of more importance to them, of quote, higher value, because they're paying some price to get it. And also they're invested in the interaction. Understand the difference between interest and investment. Do you understand the difference between interest and investment? In a breakfast of bacon and eggs, the chicken is interested, the pig is invested. Do you get it? So we want to be interested in the girl, but invested in our skills. We're interested in the girl, but we're invested in our skills. Because no matter what happens, we're going to extract maximum learning from it. Think about that. What if you knew, what if you absolutely knew that no matter what happened in the interaction, you were going to learn what you needed to become more and more of the kind of person you already see yourself becoming, and it would bring you closer and closer to the mastery of the skills that you already can see yourself having? What would that do to your sense of excitement and adventure of going out and just trying crazy shit? You understand? Yeah. So, I believe that the way we get her invested in all of this is first and foremost by presenting ourselves in a way that capture and leads her imagination. Second, we want her to ratify that she's having a good experience. We want her to get the sense that she's getting something that she wants more of. That's why if I first do this initial stuff and I'm warming a woman up and I reach behind her neck and I do this kind of thing, I don't keep going with it. I'll take a break and say, hey, listen, I got to go to the bathroom, because I want her to think about, oh wow, I want more. If I get her thinking sexual thoughts, then I want to do something to make sure those thoughts loop over and over again in her mind. Now, would anyone like to learn an evil, dirty, totally unfair, wicked, vile, satanic trick so that when a woman is starting to have sexual thoughts about you, they loop over and over and over and over in her mind until she's ready to take action on them?
Yes.
No. I really need your energy. I'm very, very tired. I won't teach. I'll, you know. Okay. So, I'm playing around with a woman, and I've got her a little bit turned on. I'll say something like this. I'll say, I like quoting. I like to quote other people. Why is quotes a powerful pattern? What does quotes allow us to do?
It allows you to say things that you wouldn't normally say yourself. It takes away the stigma of it coming directly from you.
Exactly. And if it's too strong or too offensive, I didn't say it. It's what I heard from another person. Now, what can you quote? You can quote a TV show. You can quote a movie. You can quote a book that you were reading, although no one reads anymore. You can quote a conversation you overheard. I like to quote my friend Debbie's next door neighbor's cousin. Because the more you stack it like that, the less they can consciously follow it. Do you understand? So I'll say, I don't know about you, but I'm having such a good time here. And, my next door neighbor has a cousin who likes to say that when you really begin to have certain thoughts, I find when you let those thoughts run through your mind, really begin to see them in a way when you realize you have to take action on them. It's the kind of thing that could cause a person to come over and over and over again to one conclusion. That there's something growing between you and another person that you really, really want to take for yourself. Anyway, when you were a little girl, was there some kind of candy that was the king of your candy castle? I'll take it away. So, in order to get her looping on this, so let's say you've got her thinking sexual thoughts. You can see she's thinking sexual thoughts. You've used what you want to do to accelerate it and then really get it into her mind is to use quotes. To quote. Oh, I read in a newspaper, or my friend's next door neighbor said, or I had this friend who said, quote, I find when I let those thoughts run through your mind. Do you see that shift? I find when I let those thoughts run through your mind, what? The unconscious gets confused and the thoughts will begin to run. I find when you let those thoughts run through your mind, really see the images and feel the feelings. Really see the images and feel the feelings. These are some of my golden oldies. So, blah, blah, blah. That Paris Hilton joke, I don't know. I think it's the kind of thing that could cause a person to have some really interesting thoughts. But my friend was saying, and I have to agree with him, because I find when I let those thoughts run through your mind, really see the images and feel the feelings, it's almost like you can look through a window of excitement. It's something that you really just have to take on for yourself. Look through a window of excitement. What am I doing? I'm creating a structure, a hypnotic, please don't walk in front of the camera, duck. Now, duck, duck, duck. I'm creating a hypnotic construct for them to look through. I find when I let those thoughts run through your mind, really see the images and feel all the feelings. My friend says it's the kind of thing that can cause a person to start to come over and over again to one conclusion, that there's something growing between you and another person that you know you really want, a new direction you can see inside yourself. It's like you look through this window because, well, anyway, when you were a little girl, was there some candy that was the king of your candy castle? I changed the subject. I want to change, there's times when I want to change the subject. One of the questions I like to ask women is playing around a little bit. I'll say, you seem like an adventurous kind of person. Are you adventurous? Sophia, let's play. Stop texting and let's play. Come here. All right. Ja, you may sit. Setzen Sie.
Dankeschön.
Bitteschön. Welches Datum haben wir heute?
Okay, that's right.
Yes.
Why do all women look the same when they like,
Say again?
Why do they all look the same when they come to your like seat?
I'm not understanding what you're saying. I'm not trying to be...
Like all the women, they seem like the same sort of like temperament.
In what context are you asking this question? Who come up here to volunteer in front of the room? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm well, I don't know.
Well, okay. I don't understand your question. Reformulate it and ask it again another time. Because I really...
No, I'll do it now.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying, why do you have like particular girls that come up to your like, you know, situation that like answer the right questions, or do you have random people?
She's thinking like she's working for you.
Oh, so no. Sophia doesn't work for me, but she's interested and she's willing to be on stage and she's willing to be on camera and she's responsive. Okay? So, if I was playing with Sophia and doing this kind of thing, again, it looks something like this. I'd say like, you know, I learn a lot about people by learning where they find their sense of adventure, where they find their need to get away. Like, have you ever heard that slogan, what happens in Las Vegas stays in Vegas? Have you heard that?
Of course.
It kind of reminds me of a friend of mine in college who used to ask women this question. If you could go somewhere where no one knew who you were and nothing you did would get back to anybody who did know you, what kind of things could you picture yourself really, really enjoying? I find, you know, when I let those thoughts run through your mind, my friend says it's the kind of thing that can cause a person to see an unbelievable new direction that you really, really want to take. But anyway, when you were a little girl, was there some kind of candy that was the king of your candy castle? I want to take it away. I don't want her to answer the question. So most of the time when I ask a woman a question, I want to hear her answer. Why would I want to take it away?
Because your question was ambiguous.
I want those thoughts, I want her to take those thoughts and try to push them down, because then they're going to come back up again.
And say, what the fuck is up?
You understand?
You let her think.
Do you get it? Now, this is one way to do it. One way to get them invested is simply to get the thoughts looping over and over again. It's one thing for a woman to have an occasional passing sexual thought about a guy. No big deal. They could just be horny to the point where the bus goes by and they happen to see a guy and they feel a little twinge or something. It's quite another thing to get it into their mind to the point where they feel, okay, this is sufficient repetition, I want to act on this. Do you get it?
Yes.
The other way to do it is to set the frame that you're screening her early on. So I'll say something like, look, obviously, you're an attractive lady, and you know that, I know that. But if you could name 3 things about yourself that are uniquely attractive, that have nothing to do with the way you physically appear, what would they be?
So this is in question.
Yeah, I'm
I
actually,
should answer.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for real.
For real.
Yeah.
For real, I'm very charismatic and I know how to rule a whole room.
I like, only a German would say rule a whole room.
Yeah, I had no. Yeah,
A
what's the
Swede
English-
would never even think in terms of ruling, but
Yeah, what's the English word for it?
command, lead.
Lead, yeah, that's what I meant. But not just lead. When you enter the room and everybody has to look at you because you just entered it and filled it completely with your energy.
I
your
think,
presence.
you know, I think it's very interesting when you just enter it and fill it completely with your energy and your presence. It's a wonderful talent, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. I like to enter it in a way that fills it completely. And, you know?
I just think right now about your succeed.
Oh, yeah, I will,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
You-
got it, yeah.
Yeah, you got it. You just got the image. Okay. So, but seriously, so that's one. What's number two?
Number 2, I enjoy to let it go completely, more than most people I know.
What do you mean by that?
I mean by that the other question that I shouldn't answer, I just could say, yeah, I would do what I already do. Because I don't care. I just let it go all the time.
You just let go. And what's the third one?
I like books.
You like books? Really? You're a bookworm? You like to read?
Yes,
Huh, okay. What kind of books? What do you like?
everything. It depends on
Fiction?
how I feel.
Non-fiction?
Everything.
Wait. I'm just a little curious about that. What do you mean it depends on how you feel? Can you tell me a little bit more about that? I hope you don't
Pretty
mind.
sure that you know exactly what I meant.
Actually, I don't know what you meant. I have no idea what you mean. I'm not going to presume that I know how another very intelligent and attractive person thinks.
Well, of course, when I'm tired, I like to read children's books because they're easy to read and they are positive.
Oh, okay. I hadn't thought of that.
And
Like Pippi Longstrumpf?
yeah, for example,
Yeah, I
Or-
love Pippi.
Ronja Räubertochter. Yeah.
Oh, you think I don't know what that is? That's Ronja, the hunter's daughter? Is
Yeah,
that right?
I-
Or thieves' daughter?
Was pretty sure that you know it.
Yeah. I learned from my Swedish friends.
Yeah, this is what I
Tack
thought.
så mycket, Vanar. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and when I feel really intellectual and really smart, then I like to read really smart books like Goethe or complicated books, older books.
You read Goethe, wow.
Yeah, but yeah, these are strange times when I read Goethe.
Wow, cool. Okay, that's interesting. So your tastes vary, and what you want to take into your imagination depends on what you want to feel and the mood you want to create for yourself. I think that's pretty cool. Okay. It doesn't really matter what her answers are. What I'm doing here is I just want to screen in some way. I want to give the idea, hello. It's very distracting. You can have a seat with it. I want to at least create the notion that, but from here I'll go, you know, I have to tell you something. I'm really interested in this idea of what makes people uniquely attractive beyond their looks. Because I was doing this thought experiment. What would you call it? Gedenken? Yeah, I was doing a little thought experiment. I was thinking about this idea that, of course, we're all attracted to physical things, but like if you met twin brothers at a party or some place where you feel totally comfortable.
Do they look really good?
Yeah, they're twin brothers, and they both look. You ever see a guy, and you just, it's like, you know.
And they both have it?
They're twins. They're identical twins. Okay, you meet twin brothers. They both look like exactly the kind of guy, and I don't know who that might be, but they both look exactly like the kind of guy. I'm going to ask. Please note, if you're going to text, step outside and do it, dear. It's very distracting. If you're not invested in being here and paying attention, I invite you to step outside.
I'm sorry.
Okay?
I'm sorry.
That's fine. Okay. So, they both look exactly like the kind of guy where whatever it is, I don't know what it is, the first signal you feel on the inside that lets you know, wow. But they both look exactly like that, okay? Can you picture that? Okay. Even though she knows what I'm doing, it's still weird. Okay, right. One of them is an amazingly great dancer, but the other one has the most skilled, pleasure-giving, amazingly talented touching hands. So which one? Remember, they both look identical. Which one would you think to yourself, I'm going home with this one? You hear the command? Which one would you think to yourself, I'm going home with this one? Which one? The twin brother? Me? Do you understand? Who am I talking about? Which one would you think to yourself, hear the command, think to yourself, I'm going home with this one?
Both brothers.
Would you take both at the same time? Guys, seminar's concluded for the day. Wow, are you cold? What's going on here? Am I making you sweat?
No, it's not that warm inside this room.
Oh, wow. Okay. You understand? So, but play along. Don't say both. Pick one. Just play with me here, because that's not the response you're giving.
I really would try to take both. Why do I have to
Okay.
decide? I wouldn't.
Because there's only one of me. I don't know how to clone myself. Otherwise, I'd start a franchise of this and sit at home and watch cartoons and just have them all and count the money.
Okay, I would take the one who has more balls in coming to me and talking to me.
That's not one of the choices. They're both equally aggressive. Oh,
Yeah, who has more courage.
More
Who
courage?
shows more courage when
okay.
it comes to me.
Great. Okay. So what is it about? I'm going to play with that. That's not the way this is. So let me ask you a question. Obviously, when you stop and you think about how you feel in the presence of a man who has great courage, it feels really good. But I'm just curious, what is it about a man showing courage that you find so valuable or so interesting or so exciting? What is it that's so important about a man who's showing courage?
Of course, the cliche that you can let it go when the man has the courage and when the man knows how to lead.
I have to say that like courage can
Okay,
come in different forms,
ma'am,
can't
this is not how it works. You cannot, this is getting to the point where you're being disruptive, okay? So, if you have a question, raise your hand. Otherwise, I'm going to ask you to leave.
Well,
So,
you can
That's
say
your-
if you want to.
okay, now I am going to ask you to leave because you become disruptive. So, it's time for you to go.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Unless you can agree to the rules, which are, if you have a question, raise your hand. Okay?
I do have a question.
Okay. You have to wait, because I'm in the middle of something here. Okay. So, when a man's showing courage, obviously, it triggers something. It allows you, I think you said let go, correct?
Yeah, and
As opposed to, I'm curious, what's the opposite of that?
the opposite is a needy guy who is whining behind you and says, please,
Okay.
tell me what to do.
So in your mind, there's no middle ground between a guy who's needy and whiny and a guy who's courageous.
Of course there's a middle ground, but you ask for the opposite.
Okay, good. Okay. So when you're with someone who's courageous, it allows you to let go. Correct? Mm-hmm. And I'm just curious, when you let go, what comes out of you? What do you show that doesn't show when you don't let go?
I would say exactly the same, but more, much more.
Oh, much more. Okay. Now, play with me a little bit here, and let's go back, because I want to demonstrate how this would work. Very few women are going to say both guys, so we'll try again. So, twin brothers, one of them is a great dancer, the other one has incredibly good hands. Which one would you pick?
I would pick the dancer.
The dancer, really? I'm very curious about that. You know, I think that some women say that if a guy's really good at dancing, we just were blowing at a bug, we're not like, if a guy's really good at dancing, then he's probably good at other things. But I'm just curious, when you see a guy who's a really great dancer, what does that tell you, or what does that do for you?
That he knows how to move his body.
He knows how to move his body, yeah. Okay. But I have to say, for me, if I had to choose between a woman who is a great dancer or has great hands, personally, I'd pick the hands. I think it's very important that someone knows how to touch me in all the ways you really want to be touched. Do you hear it? I disagree. I think it's really important that someone be able to touch me in all the ways you really want to be touched. Do you hear it? Now, I think this is ridiculous, but I had a friend in college who claimed that he could get women really excited just by doing this, just by rubbing the palm of the hand. But I think that's nonsense. Anyway, so saying twin brothers, right? One of them makes you laugh more than anyone you've ever met in your whole life, but the other one is a scandalously amazing kisser. Which one do you pick?
For just sex or relationship?
Okay, let's say just for sex.
The kisser,
Really?
of course.
Tell me, what do you think makes for an amazingly good kisser?
Huh. You cannot say it like a technique. It's
Of course.
a feeling.
It's a feeling, right? So if you were to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate yourself?
Depends on the partner.
I like her answers, by the way. Her answers are really good and sophisticated and unexpected. I like her answers. Okay. Last one. One of these guys has more money than Bill Gates, but the other one makes you feel like you're the most uniquely attractive woman ever to have arisen on the face of the earth. Which one do you find yourself picking?
The second one, because I want to earn enough money for myself.
Oh, I like her. Good, good. Cool. I like that. Okay. So I'm just playing here a little bit. But no matter what her answers are, it gives me an opportunity to embed commands and to embed suggestions and to sexualize things, no matter what her answers are. Do you understand? And by telling her what I like, that has nothing to do necessarily with the physical, it's once again reinforcing that I'm doing the screening. Guys who are good with women know how to screen and/or imply that they're screening. Why? Because first of all, the woman's going to draw the conclusion that you have lots of options. I screen my clients. By the way, this is not a joke. More and more, I'm moving away from teaching these seminars and working with clients privately. But I do not accept about a third of the people want to work with me either by Skype or in person. I will not accept them as clients. I'm not joking about this. On my mother's memory and my father's memory, and I shouldn't swear on that, I reject clients because they don't strike me as people I want to work with or people that I can help. Now, that has the added, I'm not doing it as a technique, but it has the added benefit of people going, wow, he must be really good. He'll say no to money. He'll say no to clientele. He actually has standards. So it indeed helps to have real standards when you actually will say no to a woman, even though she's physically attractive. That does something. Listen to me. The attitude without saying it, without speaking it, the attitude is, speaking my truth is more important to me than getting into your pants. This is an incredibly powerful attitude to have with women. Speaking my truth is more important to me than getting into your pants. It's a wickedly powerful attitude to have. You don't say it directly. This is something you imply through your actions. Another attitude that's yes, go ahead, ask.
How would you imply?
By being willing to say what I really think. By being willing to say what I really think, truly really think. Like if I'm hanging out with a woman, she says something that I don't agree with, I'm going to tell her right off the bat. I'll say, excuse me, this is not directed at you, but I think that opinion is really dumb. I think that's just stupid. I wouldn't be usually that strong, but I had been that strong before. What? Or you call her on her bullshit. You call her on her bullshit. Like if she shows up late, 15 minutes late, you say, listen, no. I told you to raise your hand and that was your last chance. So now you have to go.
That's what I mean.
You have to go.
I'll raise my hand.
You have to go now.
I'll raise my hand.
leave. Kill the camera, please. No, you become